And we're back. We're back right with my girl Kels doing the thing. Okay, Kels. So you say you were doing daycare stuff, getting paid. It probably shouldn't have been working with you, what you were doing because you was a hustler. Homeschooling, did some AAU games and stuff like
Right.
that. You know, they didn't kind of work out for you too much, but you managed to hit senior prom.
Yep.
You know,
Went to prom twice actually.
What?
Yep. So I was originally class of '07.
Okay.
But I graduated a year early. So I went to prom in '06 and the class trips. And
so you got all the plus with the stuff.
Yes, and then backdoor went for '07 too. Because I mean, '07 was my clique.
That was really
my
year.
Class.
Right.
So
you were red shirted.
Right.
Shout out to the red shirt graduate. All right. So you say you graduated at 17.
Yes.
All right. So
graduated
now
early.
The world, you graduate early. You at the parents' house. What's in store? What does Kels have in store from this point?
Man.
Real talk. Keep it real.
Oh my gosh. So it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were very strict.
Okay.
And I was very rebellious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was carrying a lot of resentment from being adopted.
So dealing with that stuff right there.
Yeah, it was
right?
a lot of emptiness. I was looking for people to fill the void of like not knowing who my mom was or who my dad was or where I came from.
Well, let me ask you something with that right there. It's not really to back up, but you caught me on something. So coming up, like when did that really start to affect you? That you think, was it a point where they told you were adopted?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
and
that's
from
like
that point was it confusion?
Yeah, that's the most common question I get asked. When did your parents tell you were adopted, or how did you find out? I actually have recollections of my mom telling me when I was like 5, like you're mommy's, but you didn't come out of mommy's belly. Somebody else, like the whole spiel, and so it just always stuck with me. And I always knew, even though. If you look at my parents, you would think that I might have come from them.
Right.
My mom is from Louisiana, and she's really fair skinned.
Got that Creole thing going on.
You would think that, but I always felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb. And then it didn't help having people like know that grew up with you that like use it against you eventually. So, but yeah.
Man, that's okay. That's something right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue from there. You
So I was rebellious.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to fill a void. I was like really, really hurt behind, my whole family situation. I later found out like bits and pieces. My mom was she called herself being very protective about the whole adoption thing. I had a closed adoption. So there's open adoptions and there's closed.
Okay, can you break those down?
So with open adoptions, the biological family or mother, father can be a part of the child's life, kind of like look-ins and letters, as much involvement as the adopted parents allow.
Okay, got it.
And then with closed adoptions, it's just shut, sealed, nothing.
No contact. It's like no contact.
No contact at all. Like push the baby out, you have it, you sign it over, and that's it. Like my mom didn't even know if I was a girl or a boy.
Oh man.
So
okay.
Right. So basically I was just struggling with that, and I just didn't really know how to like process it at such a young age.
Right.
I felt really guilty trying to talk to my parents about it because I didn't want them to feel like I was being ungrateful or like I didn't value our relationship and everything they instilled in me and how they were raising me. But it really messed with me. Like, my brother and my sister could wake up every day and say, oh, I look like my mom. I look like my dad. I have my dad's nose. I have my mom's mouth. But I didn't have that. That was taken away from me.
Okay.
And by no admission, it was nobody's fault. I'm very grateful for the life they gave me. But if you don't know where you come from or who you are, like it's gonna be harder to figure out who you are, basically.
Definitely.
So it always bothered me, and I really, really, really wanted to know who my biological parents were. And so I got to a point where I just started acting out because it was like I'm trying to voice this to my parents the best way I can, but they're not really hearing me. I don't want to step on their toes. They don't really understand. It's not something they probably processed when they adopted a child, like what would come. But yeah, so I just started being rebellious. That's like going to the club at 16 when...
Going to the club at 16?
Yeah.
Girl, hold up, dog. I get to the club at 16.
I went to the Roxy. I'll never forget. I was literally like almost 17 years old.
Right.
I didn't have no ID or anything. We just literally gave the door guy like extra $20.
But so you were a tomboy, should it?
No, I was girly at that point.
So when did you get girly?
When I realized that I was looking for attention in the wrong places.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
But you know what? See, listen. Ooh, I high five you on that. The fact that you even said that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've really never even heard a woman say that.
Oh, baby, I sit in my stuff.
Come on now.
I sit in my stuff, and you have to go through stuff to be able to say certain things.
Okay, right.
And acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? And in my assignment on working on myself, it's different when you're doing it for yourself versus someone else.
Okay.
So when I'm took on the assignment to work on myself and really look in the mirror and say, you know, these things happen to me. I'm sitting in my trauma. I'm working on it. I don't want to repeat cycles and those types of things. It really didn't register for me until I had children. But I knew that I did not want them to go through the things that I went through or to feel the ways that I felt.
Right.
So.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so you say you were sneaking in clubs and stuff like that.
Right.
So what was your experience at your first club? What was your experience? You walking in there, lights blinking and everything?
Yeah. I mean, thank God I wasn't drinking or anything at that age, but
Right.
it was definitely, it was fun. You know, like I said, my parents were very strict,
Right.
and I've always been the child that dances to the beat of their own drum, and I'm very free spirited and buck wild, crazy,
Right.
and, say whatever's on my mind. My family wasn't like that, and so any opportunity or space that I was given to be myself,
Right.
I was all for it.
Ah.
So that's when I say I just started looking for attention in all the wrong places, love in all the wrong places.
Right.
And then what really messed my head up was
that?
finding out that my biological mom had another child that was 2 years older than me. She kept her but gave me away. So that really
So you
made
knew that at 17?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
That really made me feel crappy.
So how did you even find it out?
Well, my mom decided that she was going to let me see my adoption paperwork, the paperwork that she did have.
Okay, got it.
And so I was just looking through it, and it's really weird, and it's really hard to take in and register that your whole family is just on a spreadsheet. Like mom, it'll have height, weight, eye color. I'm reading this stuff and I'm trying to put a picture of a person together.
Right.
And the same thing with my dad and my grandparents and so on and so forth. And I found out that I had my grandpa died at 45 of a heart attack. That's hard to kind of read on a piece of paper at such a young age when you watch these TV shows. I used to watch Maury and Jenny Jones, and they used to reunite biological people, families with adopted families. And I was just oh my God, I'm gonna have a dream story.
You probably used to have just imagination of that happening.
Yes. My imagination was so vivid, and I never really thought anything negative because I was so young and naive. I really didn't think anything positive. I didn't think anything negative. I only thought positive stuff because this is what I saw on TV.
Okay, got it.
And then my situation was not like that at all. At all. So I'm just reading about my family on these it was 50 pages. It went from a breakdown of things they might have carried, diabetes, hypertension.
Right.
And then it went into my medical records of my birth facts and my mom's hospital stay and who fed me, and read that my mama literally left the hospital and a nurse fed me and took care of me, and it was just really weird. It was definitely like I said, it took me to a very dark place.
I can only imagine you at that age and you're reading these things and just watching really your lineage on paper.
Right.
I could only imagine how that made you feel.
And my mindset at that time was, if my parents couldn't love me enough to stick it out and keep me, then who can really love me?
Come on. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
How can I really love myself? When I say it took me to a dark place,
So you really started spiraling.
Yes. Yeah.
The Coriolis effect took place at that
For
point.
real. It was deep.
Man. Okay. All right. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back and we're gonna get into the Coriolis illusion, the Coriolis effect, and see what kind of spins that she had. But she came out of them. Whatever spins she had, she came out of them. We'll be right back here on Five Guys.